Before we get to the gun settings, let's go over some of the things that I do to get a clean paint job. I think we do a pretty good job of getting clean paint jobs for the environment we're spraying in. And this can be one of the most challenging things to do if you're spraying at home out of your own garage. First of all, it's very important to clean the entire vehicle before you start sanding, masking, doing any of that. I go over it with a pressure washer if at all possible. After we dismantled it, we pressure washed this entire vehicle, and then we went around with isopropyl alcohol in any areas that might be holding dirt. It's important to remove as much trim as possible because under that trim, it holds dirt and trash. The other thing we like to do is we let it sit overnight. So after we mask it off, we degrease it, we wipe it with isopropyl alcohol, we let it sit overnight, and I paint it the next day. And that allows everything that's in the air of the shop to settle. And then in the morning, I'll come in, wipe it all down, I'll wash it one more time with isopropyl alcohol, and then we're ready to spray. I would definitely recommend this step. Now, there's one more tip I want to give you that's crucial to getting a clean paint job if you're painting at home. And I do this after the first coat of paint, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about the gun setup on this Inokraft Drizzle D1. I like to use a low volume, low pressure paint gun when I'm spraying my base because the transfer efficiency is amazing. It uses less air, produces less overspray, and that's going to save you in materials because you're getting less paint in the air. So I set this gun up at around 15 to 18 PSI for base coat. We open up our fluid volume about 3 turns out from closed. So we close it all the way, open it up 3 turns. I like to keep my fan pattern nearly wide open, so I'll open it up all the way and I'll dial it back about 1/4 of a turn. After the first coat of base, you want to let that base flash off or dry for about 10 to 15 minutes before you apply a second coat. Now I let this dry for about 30 minutes because I wanted to go over it, look for any imperfections, any dust, and sand those out with 600 grit sandpaper. This is an important step if you're working at home out of your garage and you want to eliminate as much dust as possible, especially on upper surfaces like hoods and roofs.